Retain gang, what's poppin', man? This your boy Tate, back at y'all again. Hey, so today we're gonna talk about spiritual intelligence, something that we need to be operating from in this day and time. I've been getting a lot of questions, a lot of DMs, emails from people that's going through it, man. The times that we're in right now is forcing people to deal with themselves. And a lot of stuff is being, boiled up to the surface. Things you haven't dealt with, or just maybe little things here and there that's still deep down inside of you. And the times that we're in right now is forcing those things to come up, and it's putting you in certain situations where you got to deal with that circumstance. And if you don't, it's just going to keep repeating itself until you deal with it, until you release it. Right? So, spiritual intelligence is the idea of using the left brain and your right brain. Those two things working in harmony. They become one. So you got your right brain, which is your emotional side, your emotional intelligence. And then you have the left brain, which is your logic or your intellectual intelligence. Those two sides have to be working in harmony for you to rise up to having spiritual intelligence. Emotional intelligence, the right side, that's your creativity. That's how you feel. So a lot of people don't have a lot of emotional intelligence. They feel emotions, but most of the time, if we're not self-aware, we feel something and we just ride that wave. We ride that energy and motion. But you gotta learn how to create a space between what you feel and how you should react. A lot of my empaths struggle with this if they don't have self-awareness, because as empaths, you feel everything. And what happens is a lot of times empaths can mistake what they feel as their own feelings. You might be around a crowd of people, so you're picking up all these different energies and emotions and feelings. And then when you go home for the night, or when you leave that environment, you got all these feelings and you thinking that's yours. So you got to be able to create that space, or else you can get lost in other people's feelings and emotions. This is what emotional intelligence comes in. You got to be able to strengthen that side of you. Be able to feel something and identify what you're feeling, analyze, where it came from, why, how. This is where the intellectual side comes from, the logical side. Because now you're able to ask questions about why you feel a certain way. Right? For example, say, you at the store and you go up to the clerk, and the clerk is giving you attitude, right? They're giving you bad vibes, bad energy. Now your emotional side, your emotional intelligence, you're going to pick up that vibe. You're going to be like, all right, this person giving me attitude. Now, do you react off that, or do you create a space and try to understand why this person's feeling like that and where this energy is coming from? And then with the intellectual side, you're asking, okay, why is this person acting like this? Where did this energy come from? Okay, when you start to ask these questions, now both hemispheres are working in harmony. And now the whole mind is being used, which is now you're in spiritual intelligence. So now you rise up from the ego side to the soul side. Your soul has taken over your mind as a whole. You operate from that perspective. So with that perspective now, instead of you giving that clerk attitude back, you're going to be operating from that higher dimension. You're going to say, okay, well, maybe somebody else came and gave this person attitude, or maybe that they just having a bad day. This is the only way they can express themselves. It's the only way they know how, right? So you being who you are, thinking from that dimension, you don't act on that or feed into that, but you do what's right. You do the right thing, which is maybe try to, give that person some good energy back, just to, cancel out that negativity. This is what we talk about spiritual intelligence, by being able to see things from bird's eye view. Seeing the whole picture and not being judgmental, not being egotistical, but you just understanding, trying to understand and see everything from all perspectives. This is the mindset you got to be operating from, because like I said, it's a spiritual war right now. So you can't get caught up in your feelings. You can't get caught up in, logic. You got to be caught up in spirit. Who am I? What is my purpose? And how can I use that to navigate through this realm? So you have to exercise understanding every situation that you're in, and trying to be present in the moment. See, that's the key. You have emotional intelligence and intellectual intelligence, but you have to be present. You got to be able to be right there in that moment and to identify and feel, right? This is where the spiritual connections will come in. And now you're able to see it as an experience as opposed to a situation, right? Remember, everything we go through is an experience. It's something that can teach us and help us grow. But you won't see that if you're operating from a lower level. You won't see the lessons in what you go through. Everything, every obstacle, every type of resistance that we meet comes with a lesson attached to it. It comes with a lesson of growth to help you become the best version of yourself. But you can't run away from it. You can't bury it. You can't say, oh, well, I'm not going to deal with this. I'm just going to let time pass and let it get buried deep inside. And when you let that happen, you're going to be caught in a loophole. Just a loophole of being put in the same circumstances until you learn how to get up out of that. You got to learn how to let go. But the only way you can see that is you got to see yourself. You got to see yourself. You got to be operating from your higher mind, your higher self. And this is what we talk about, a shift, 3D, 5D. 3D, like I said, when you're in the 3D, you're operating from your ego. Your ego controls you, your whole perspective. So you're just living, from feeling to feeling, from logic to logic. You're just seeing right now what's around you, but you're not seeing it from the whole perspective, the collective, having a purpose for it, having identity for it. Most people don't have identity or purpose. They just get up every morning and they just do stuff. That's how majority of people are. We just do stuff. None of us really know what we're supposed to be doing. But at the same time, you can have a set purpose based off of learning yourself. You can find out what you're supposed to do while you're here by learning yourself, figuring out who you are. And the only way you can do this is by tapping into those different levels of yourself in your mind. This is why self-discipline is so important. This is why guys that watch my channel, I tell you to try to, gain control over yourself, starting from the bottom, going all the way to the top. It's a journey of self-discipline and self-awareness, because it's only through that you can unlock your higher self. You can't know who you are if you don't exercise discipline or exercise self-control over your urges. You don't want to operate off of impulse. And that's the whole point of trying to better yourself, right? That's what I had to learn. You got to control those lower aspects of yourself. You got to clean out the lower aspects of yourself for you to rise up to the top. That's the only way you can do it. You can't have all this trash and all this, negativity and heavy energies taking up space and expect for yourself to rise up to the highest potential. It's going to weigh you down. You feel what I'm saying? If y'all watch Naruto, look when they fought Madara, him, Sasuke and Naruto, right? When they had the 6 past powers. Remember the Madara, he had these other Madaras in a different dimension. Naruto could feel it, but he couldn't see it. Sasuke could see it, but he couldn't feel it. So Naruto was operating out of right brain, which is feelings, emotions. He could feel the energy, but he couldn't see it. Right? Sasuke operating from the left, which is more logical. He could see, he was real good at analyzing the enemy's moves and being able to come up with a strategy. Naruto was more creative. Right? He was more creative and unorthodox in his methods. So when they fought together, they fought as one, they were untouchable because they was both sides, masculine and feminine aspects coming together as one, completion. That's why they were so OP whenever they fought together. Right? Because you got the left and the right, the masculine and feminine coming together. You got to be able to, I wouldn't say master, but you got to at least be able to understand and have some type of control in both of those aspects. Spiritual intelligence is what you need today, because that's going to show you truly, the move that you need to make, how you should go about, carrying yourself, who you should be around, having empathy, being able to see things from a bird's eye view. All right? Wu-Tang Gang, this your boy Tay. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Let me know in the comment section what y'all thought about this video, or what y'all would like me to talk